Hi everyone, happy Monday. Oh, today we're here and we're gonna do some makeup. And I'm not sure what the look is today. I normally have really clear plans on what we're doing, and today I've spent most of my day working on a project and watching Will Smith movies, quite frankly. I love Will Smith. So I watched Enemy of the State, and I watched The Legend of Bagger Vance. I'm actually in the middle of that, so I'm going to go back to that later. And then up next is Hancock, which if you haven't seen Hancock before, it's really good. They're all good, but I've been on like a movie kick all weekend. So we're going to do some makeup, and we're also going to just talk about that feeling that I'm having right now, and I'm wondering if other people are having it too, which is that feeling of just running out of things to say. In a variety of ways, but most importantly, let's get into it. Okay, so we are going to, if you wear glasses, you know this plate very well, which is I will have imprints from the on the bridge of my nose for my glasses, and so I normally do a couple of things, which is if I'm wearing my glasses and I have makeup on, I normally just kind of press like this to kind of help remove the indentation. But I'm going to just use some, I'm really oily anyhow, so I'm just going to use some of these, what are they called? You know what I'm saying. I can't think of the word. These oil blotting sheets. Blotting. That's the word I'm looking for. So we are going to, oh, these are rose scented. Ooh, they are like, why are they scented? I don't know. It's very strange. Don't think I like that. Okay, so we're going to remove some oil, and then I'm going to put on moisturizer, and we're going to just crack into a quick makeup look today. I'm not going to spend forever and ever. I've been really, I kind of go in these, what's the word I'm looking for? I kind of go in these almost like these highs and lows. That's not what I mean though, but sometimes I'm really into I want to wear all the makeup. I want to put everything on my face. I want to wear it all at the same time. And then other times I'm like, meh, it's cool. I love makeup. Y'all know that about me, but every once in a while, it's actually not even every once in a while. Sometimes I'm just not in the mood. I'm like, whatever. It's fine. That's kind of how I'm feeling today. I'm like, it's all good. So if you are watching live or you're watching on the replay, you're watching on the replay, go ahead and say hello so that I can say hello to you. I am clearly in a different location and a different setup. I'm filming from my phone today, but it's all good. Okay, so moisturizer, we're gonna do the Clinique Dramatically Different Moisturizing Lotion. Just a little. You don't need a whole lot. So this feeling that I'm having of running out of things to say, it's about a lot of things right now. In regards to Black Lives Matter and this racial, what are we calling it? Are we calling it the general racial injustice? Are we calling it the movement that's happening, the revolution? Is it a revolution? I don't know. I'm hesitant. History has informed me to be cautiously optimistic. That's how I feel. I feel like if things change, great. If they don't, am I surprised? No. Why? Because have you paid any attention to what happens in this country? People get excited, and even worldwide, people are all I want to learn, I want to grow, I'm going to change things, and I'm going to be a better teacher, and I'm going to do all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's cute. Okay, great. Until until you don't, until you get tired, until you're like, oh, I have other priorities right now. And then what? Like, it's over? Oopsies. Just kidding. I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I normally do my skin first and then I jump into the eyes. I'm going to do my eyes first and then bounce over to doing the rest of my skin. I feel very confused by the idea of so many people who are suddenly, I get it to an extent. To an extent, I get the idea that people are now getting a better understanding of why it's important for there to be, why racism needs to be addressed and why you need to be anti-racist, not just saying I'm not racist isn't enough, basically. Like, people are like, I understand now that I have to be actively anti-racist. I am glad that people are getting to that understanding, but I'm also confused because why is it taking so long? Like, I put on concealer and now I'm just putting on some pressed powder. What I'm confused by is I saw this video the other day, and listen, I am one black person. I can tell you my one black experience. And I saw this video the other day that talked about, we're going to do brows, that talked about this, was it a black man who was talking about, oh yes, it was that podcast. It's a podcast episode. I will find, if I can find, I'll find it and I'll like link it in the comments or something. But it's a black man who's talking about feeling like, how many names did you have to hear before you were finally like, enough is enough? Like, we've lost count of the names. We've lost count of how many people have lost their lives. How many different completely benign activities have become examples of black people being killed for doing absolutely nothing. So the fact that we can like lose track of names, I just don't get it. It feels very much in the sense of like with school shootings, like we all can remember Columbine. If you're old enough, right? I was in middle school when that happened. And as a teacher, it's a very strange thing to, as a teacher, remember the fear and terror of that happening, because like school was a safe space. Like, nobody would ever do anything out of school. Like, what are we talking about? And now it's like, it's common practice. And as a teacher to go through all of these drills and all of these like practices of active shooter drills and having to keep your students safe, and the idea of like, I'm not in military training. Like, I am supposed to protect little kids from an active shooter. What are we talking about? That seems ridiculous, but it's become commonplace that like we have to prepare for those things. And why did school shootings become the norm instead of it happened once, we need to make sure it never happens again, and we need to put all of the time and energy and effort into stopping that so that it doesn't become a problem, because it's a problem. It happens all the time now. Except for now when there is a worldwide pandemic and people are actually staying home. Like, isn't that kind of weird? Like, even the crazy, it almost makes you wonder, like, so if people who would typically be doing school shootings, are those same people no longer, have they lost their audience because we're not, hi Lenise, yeah, evil's everywhere, I'm with you, but like, is it because we're not in school and so now like they've lost their venue? Like, oh, well, all of their targets are at home now, so guess I can't participate in that activity anymore. Or has the energy shifted to being angry and violent towards, in other ways, in other environments, to other groups? Or was being in school part of the problem? Like, it makes me wonder, especially after seeing so many. I'm gonna put on some lip balm. Ooh, that's a lot of lip balm. Seeing so many accounts right now of kids speaking up about the things that they're like, y'all, this isn't okay. I highly believe that kids are super smart and very aware, and they have voices, and if you just listen to them, you would be astonished to learn just how much they know. The amount of times that I've seen people with teenagers, or even with preteens, or even little kids, like posting like, wow, I went to talk to I was going to have these brave conversations with my kid, and like, they taught me stuff. Like, they are the ones who led the conversation. And I'm kind of like, duh. Like, what do you think happens in school? And let's be clear. What do you think happens at schools with teachers who are committed to not only teaching one perspective of what's important and in education, right? Because right now nothing feels, I don't want to say safe, but nothing feels stable. That's the word I'm looking for. Nothing feels stable. No area of life feels stable right now. And part of it is because, like, I think people are really excited by this idea of like a revolution. Like, yeah, we're going to change things. And I'm like, okay, have you ever studied a revolution before? Have you even just read Revelations in the Bible, if that's your jam? Like, those things aren't pretty. It's not like and then people spoke up and things were changed, but I'm getting the impression that that's what people think is going to happen. And I'm like, you do understand that it has to get really, 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 really bad before it gets better, right? It's not as simple as, and if you think it is as simple as like, oh, well, now people are speaking up and like, it's all gonna fix itself and then we're gonna be good. I'm like, first of all, we have a long way to go before that. And second of all, do you understand that when a group of people, I will talk about black people, how long do you have to be bamboozled as a black person by what white people tend to do before you're like, I'm not buying it anymore. Like, I'm going to need a lot more evidence that you are truly making a change before I am going to be like, yes, I'm with you. I believe in you. Because I'm like, here's the thing. I'm looking for an eyeshadow palette right now, and I just can't find anything that is inspiring. That's how I feel in my life right now. I just don't feel very inspired. I keep going back to the Tati Beauty palette, which, if you follow Tati Westbrook, I don't know what's happening with her. Like, she's doing, like, weird cryptic posts on Twitter, but she's, like, gone. She's, like, not posting, but she's maybe coming back. I don't know. I have no energy for that. Like, is that bad that I'm just, like, listen, lady, I just wanted to see some pretty makeup reviews, and you're having a moment right now. So go do what you gotta do. I'll see you when you're back. Okay, I'm thinking of doing this like orangey, cranberry, dark metallic glitter thing. You game? Let's do it. We're gonna go for it. I have no plan. We're just giving it a whirl. been studying Revelations during the pandemic. Oh, Lenise, do you feel like it's over? I feel like it's ended. I'm like, okay, when do the locusts come out? And there's like, oh, what are those hornets? Those like murder hornets? And you're like, there they are. Okay, cool. What? I don't want to say what's next, but I feel very much like, okay. And it's all going to end. It's all very strange. Okay. So yeah, I think what has become clear to me is that I have become so overwhelmed with so many things to say that I don't know where to start. And so this is a very rambly video. I hope you're good with that. And if not, like, you'll just stop watching, and that's fine too. But I think that there's sharks at the Jersey Shore. The only reason that I'm laughing at that is because what are people doing at the Jersey Shore? Like, go home. What is wrong with people? I can't. Like, we do not have a vaccine. There is no, like, we don't have a cure for this. I understand the idea of feeling cooped up. But guess what? What do you think slavery felt like? Like, I never even thought about that analogy or that connection until this very moment. But for real, people can't handle 3 months of being in their homes where they are hopefully safe, like excluding domestic violence and all of those things, right? Because that's very real for people. That makes me concerned, right? That's what scares me, is people who are home and unsafe, being trapped at home because of terrible things that can happen. But what we're truly talking about is people who are like, I'm just so sick of looking at my kids and my spouse every single day, and we're just doing the same thing every single day, and we just can't get away, and I need a break. And you know what? That's it, y'all. We're out of here. Let's go to the beach. It's summertime, y'all. It was springtime, and we weren't like, let's go to Longwood Gardens, and let's go to all the... We were like, y'all, stay your butts home. Stay home. It's not safe. Stay home. Y'all, we're just going to have to stay home for a bit. It's unfortunate, but we're staying home. This is what we're doing. We're trying not to die. Let's all stay home. But it seems like everyone's lost their minds. And I want to be very clear. I am not staying exclusively home, but I am putting on a mask. Like, I went to Target once, not going back. Wasn't worth it. Way too many people. It was like very intense. I mask everywhere I go, but I'm like, no, this wasn't fun. I thought it was going to be like a pleasurable experience, so I could just get some nail polish and a couple of other things that I needed. I didn't need the nail polish. That's why I'm making that distinction. No, it was terrible. I was like, this was dumb. I'm not doing this again. Bad plan. Evacuate. And I've gone to I saw my brother, which was super exciting because I hadn't seen my brother in like 4 months. And we went to his house. We were all socially distancing in his backyard and everything else. But it's like beyond that, but people who want to like go out into the public with other people. I'm like, why? Everybody makes their choices. Like, do what you've got to do, but just don't be dumb. And so when I hear the idea, Lenise, of there being sharks at the Jersey Shore, I'm like, are they trying to help people? Like, are they trying to teach a lesson to the people who like don't get it? Like, listen, I will literally eat you. Go home. You're not supposed to be here. That's what I feel like the sharks are saying. They're like, okay, y'all don't seem to understand how this is working. Right now, we are ruling everything. That's why we're here. Because we can actually breathe in the oceans because y'all have sort of stopped polluting everything. And so we're just taking a moment to like enjoy ourselves. So could y'all stay back home? Like, stop. That's what I think the sharks are saying. And I get it. I'm not mad at them. I hear you, sharkies. Yep, see? I knew it. I just think that there are so many ways that we could be making a bigger impact And so, so let's talk about that, because I have had some conversations with some people who are talking about, who have an issue with the fact that people are protesting in the middle of a pandemic. And I'm good. Yeah, nature. Yeah, it's funny. I feel like nature, Lanice just said nature's rebelling. I feel like nature is rebelling, and also nature is thriving. It's like, thank you. Y'all have been doing, you humans have been doing far too much. Everyone's needed a break. We've been telling you, like, global warming, why do you think all this has been happening? Hello? And finally, pandemic hit, and nature's like, see? Told you so. And now, finally, it's gotten some level of a break because we have been forced to sit down already. Should have been sitting down a long time ago. Okay. So, what I'm using on my eyes, I'm just going to, well, this is the Tati Beauty palette. I use this color Poet, the matte one, and then the matte Story color. So this is in my crease, this is on my lid. That's all that's happening right now. These two colors. What's coming next? I don't know. We're going to make it up. What do you want to do? I'm thinking this metallic, what's that? Memory. This one's really cool. I don't necessarily want to go that dark though, so maybe I will do something instead. We can do something in here, like one of these three. Yeah. I'm not interested in doing like a full glitter situation because I just don't have the energy to take it off. Facts. I'm just trying to be as honest with y'all as possible. And little tip, I always swatch colors while I am doing my makeup just to see if I'm trying to make a decision, like what's gonna work best. And so that's a helpful hint before you go putting it all over your eye and you're like, oh no, actually that's not what I wanted to do. I don't like that after all. Well, save yourself from that and just test it first. Okay. I lost my train of thought. That happens frequently. It'll come back later. And if it doesn't, it wasn't that important anyway. So I just really feel like there isn't enough That's what it was. The marching. Okay, so this is why at the beginning of today's video, when I was talking about my hesitation of like truly believing when people are like, yeah, like it's a revolution. We're not gonna stand for this anymore. We're gonna do something different. And I'm like, are you though? The reason I feel that way is because, well, you have people who are complaining about people protesting for Black Lives Matter because it's a pandemic and you have to put on a mask and people are dying. And I'm like, that's the point. Black people are dying, have been dying. Before the pandemic, during the pandemic, after the pandemic, Black people are dying, not because they're just like living life in like, whoop, car crash, or whoop, heart attack, or whoop, but like, no, people are killing Black people. That's why they're protesting. It is worth the risk of getting sick or exposure, though, like, for real, wear a mask. If you're going to be out there, wear a mask. That's not to say that you will be preventing getting sick, but it's a measure, right? But I'm going like, what don't people what is so hard about this? It's not that difficult. Black people are dying. People are sick and tired of it already. So they are now making a statement that is bigger than, I'm going to sign a petition, and I'm going to call my representative, and I'm going to, not to diminish those things, but it takes a collective effort. And again, if you are a part of the group who has created the problem, you need to be a part of fixing it. And that is not to say that every white person has created the problem. No, you just happen to benefit from the negative, it's not negative for y'all, it's negative for us. The negatives, y'all benefit from systemic racism. It helps, it works in your favor. It does not work for me, and it doesn't work for my people, but there's benefits for you all. And that is not your fault. But the same way that if you were a little kid and everybody was given, if you are mindful of sharing and equality, right? If you were all given M&Ms as a kid and you saw someone get a handful of M&Ms, you see somebody else get 2, you're going to be like, wait a second, why do I have, like, maybe your first thought is, yay, I get all these M&Ms. But if you care about equality and sharing and looking at the person to your left or to your right or your front or your back, and you're like, how come they don't get a handful of M&Ms? Instead of just eating all of your greedy glut M&Ms by yourself, going, they should have as many M&Ms as I do. Give them their share of M&Ms. And what people are doing instead is they're looking at racial equality as, I now have to take my M&Ms and I have to distribute them evenly amongst everybody else. So I am now losing M&Ms. That's not what's actually going to happen. That's the miscommunication or misunderstanding that continues to drive racism. It's like, no, that's not what I'm saying. I can't speak for anybody else. I don't want your M&Ms. I want my M&Ms. Give me the M&Ms that I am due. I want to have a handful of M&Ms as well. Because here's the reality, and this is what people don't understand. There are buckets of M&Ms that are just not being shared with Black people. Of course, that's an analogy, so don't be like, oh my God, Black people don't get M&Ms? No, come on, think. Don't be dumb. Don't be dumb. Of course, that's not what I'm saying. But if you're using the M&Ms as a tool of understanding, I'm just saying, give them their handful, give them their handful, give them their handful. Because the M&Ms just sitting in the back room, nobody's actually eating them, and they're going to melt and go bad anyways, regardless of what they say about them not melting in your hand. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. I'd like to believe that I'm done. I'm going to get off my soapbox, but I'm not, because I feel really fired up about it now. I can see myself having more to say. Okay, today I put on a full face of makeup because I had to meet someone at school, and I felt so pretty. Yes! Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. It's been forever since I wore makeup. Yeah. It's funny you say that, because I've been curious about that, and I don't have any eye makeup remover around here. That's not helping me at all. I need some. It's in the other room. I refuse to get up. Oh, wait. Oh, haha. I've got a solution. So I keep my backups, well, in my drawers over here, and I take the balm, take the day off, cleansing balm. I can just take a little bit of this, because what I want to do, I want to get all of the glitter like off from underneath my eyes. So, but I don't really, I'm gonna make it work. Okay, took the teeniest little bit, and I'm just going to rub it underneath, and then I'm going to take some Fix Plus and spray down a cotton round and just wipe that away. Look at that. Problem solving since 1990. Give me 5 years. I need like 5 years before I get on my problem solving skills. But yeah, I'm a problem solver. Fix stuff. So we're gonna fix that, and then I'm gonna, the makeup thing. It is Clinique, yes. So many people, I had this conversation recently, and I was kind of confused. And this is just because this isn't how I operate. Okay, so it's not a judgment, it's just a concern. And my concern was about how many people literally stopped doing the things that make them feel like themselves during this pandemic. I stopped some things. The things that I stopped were getting sleep. Because listen, if you don't personally know any teachers who had to teach through the pandemic, let me tell you right now, if they had to teach if they had regular online school, they have never worked more in their entire lives than they just did the last 3 months. Never. They've never worked so hard, never been so creative, never fixed so many problems, solved so many crimes. It was the most intense experience I've ever gone through as a teacher, because it was like being a first-year teacher, but with all of this knowledge and experience, but it doesn't all translate to online. And so being like, I have honed all of these skills and ways of teaching that are super effective and efficient and best practice, and whoop, out the window. Can't use that anymore. So let's figure out a new way to do everything that you have fashioned to be perfection. Start over. And you're like, but why? Give me my tools back. So true. Yes, you get it, Lenny. I'm like, no, give me my tools back. I just want to write something on a whiteboard. I don't want to have to type it up and put it into a PDF and send it out and make it a Google slide. And y'all, the struggle. So when it comes to things that I did not do as much of, sleeping is something I did not do as much of. That makes me feel like myself during break, which is why I am currently sleeping 8 to 10 hours every single day. That is another thing that if you don't have a teacher in your life, you may not know that starting the school year is the most horrific thing I've ever been through, and I've done it 10 years. Because you go from this pleasant lifestyle where you can think thoughts clearly and you can remember things and you can have pleasant conversation and you can be present with the people that matter to you. You go from that to suddenly hitting the ground running, and you're like, okay, I have to do this, and I have to do this, and I have to talk to that person, I have to respond to that email, and I have to plan for this. And the start of the school year is the roughest experience. But then, at the end of the school year, it takes me at least 2 weeks before I start to feel like I'm slowing down. I would say it takes about a month before I actually am slowing down and not feeling like I have to move 1,000,000 miles an hour. And by then, it's time to get started back up. So it's a different way of being, I'll tell you that much. Exhausting. Yeah, it's so exhausting. So what I'm trying to say, I'm saying lots of things. What I'm getting at is, through the pandemic, a lot of people were suddenly working from home. Got to get in your rhythm. Yeah, yes, exactly. It takes a while to get back into a rhythm. You're totally right about that. A lot of people were working from home during this, during the springtime. And then, what I don't understand is that so many people had Zoom calls and conference calls, video calls, call them what you want calls, and yet they didn't do anything to get ready for work in the same way that they would to get ready for going to work. And this is where I'm like, I don't get it. What are you talking about? And I did a video on it. If you haven't watched it, it's not too late. You should watch it because this isn't going anywhere. We're still going to be working from home and everything else. So you should watch it. How to feel confident on video. And I specifically tell you about things such as if you normally don't talk to your boss at work, wearing sweatpants? Why are you talking to your boss at work wearing sweatpants now, just because you're home? Like, that just doesn't feel like the relationship you're used to having with them. So put some pants on. It might make you feel a little more confident. You know, it might make you feel like the professional you have come to know yourself as, because you are looking like the professional you have shown up as every single day. But suddenly, this pandemic hit and people stopped doing the things that made them feel good. Why do people stop doing their hair? I understand haircuts. I need a haircut so bad. It is painful. All of the, like, oh, my hair needs to be cut. I will live, though. I hope. I don't know. I'm gonna get shot in my sleep. Hope not. Woo! But yeah, I mean, like, people are like, I have to get my hair done. I'm like, I want to get my hair done really badly, but like, it'll keep growing. Life will go on. It'll be fine. But people stopped doing their hair. Like, stopped styling. People stopped putting on makeup. You were right about that, Lenny. Right? And I'm like, okay, people still see you. Like, through the camera, they can still see you. And inevitably, there's that moment where you weren't planning on seeing anybody, and then suddenly you get that call from, like, your cousin who's like, hey, y'all, let's all get on a video call. We haven't talked to so-and-so in a while. You're like, okay, cool. And you just don't feel like, you know, presentable or up to it. And I'm like, when did we stop putting together ourselves for, like, the world? You gotta still, you still have to do the things. You still have to put in the effort to make yourself feel like yourself. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't feel like myself when I don't have makeup on. I feel very much like myself when I don't have makeup on. But I don't feel like my most put together, ready to take on the world and go out and do stuff self. I feel that way when I have a really cute dress on and I am wearing some makeup and my hair's done and I have really cute earrings on, right? But people stopped. So that's my question to you. Like, what are the things that you stopped doing, and how can you start again, right? Did you stop putting on earrings? Put on some earrings. I literally did that the other day. I was wearing I was like, party on the top, hanging out on the bottom. No, wait, business on the top, party on the bottom. I was wearing like yoga pants, but then I had on like a cute top and I had my hair done, and I was like, let me just put in some earrings. And I felt fancy. And even though I was the only, like, no one saw me. I didn't have a video call coming up. There was nothing going on. But if somebody had called me, I would have been ready. And that is something that has happened too many times that I was kind of irritated with. And it was my own fault, which is this. I have friends that really like to video call. I like to video call. I like seeing my friends' faces, especially when I'm used to seeing them in person. Listen, I'm somebody who loves being home and also really loves people. I'm kind of a contradiction that way. So, like, when you see those memes when people are like, ugh, I can't stand people. I'm like, yeah, I feel that. And then when people are like, oh my God, I hate being alone. I'm like, yeah, I feel that. I feel all of the things. And so it's really, it's a lot. But I love a video chat. I stopped exercising, but then I just started up again. I feel great. Yes, excellent. See, I wasn't exercising and I didn't start, so I still feel the same, and it's good. But what I like, especially on Instagram. I love a Instagram video. I do it with a couple of my friends, like, regularly, and then especially with my nieces, like. When I'm talking to the girls, like, we need a full face-to-face, like, we need to get into it. I want to talk about all the things. I want to see all the it's me in my hands and moving and, like, fully into it, right? But it's so much funnier to see someone laugh than to just hear them laugh. It just is. And if you don't agree, that's your prerogative, but I'm right. So just go with it. You know what I'm saying? So what's happened is that some of my friends will call me, and do you have certain friends that are like sleepover friends? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, as adults, like, you would hang out in your pajamas with them. Like if they were to be at your house, or if you guys rented like a summer house or something together, like you wouldn't mind like being just super chill, no fancy, just kind of hanging out. You don't have to look, done up. You can be your most like relaxed self. You can wear the clothes that like no one else sees. You know what I'm saying? Like just chill. Well, I have some friends like that, and I am comfortable with them seeing me like that. I am not comfortable with their kids or their spouses seeing me like that. And every so often, because they're home, you're just like on the video call or whatever, and then somebody walks by and you're like, oh, please don't look at me. I wasn't ready for that. That happened too many times. And I had only myself to blame. I was the person who didn't get ready for the day. And so then I was like, oh gosh, I have to always be video ready. Like, and by video ready, it's the same as like just being ready to see humans on the earth. Like, you just have to be ready to see people, or better yet, to have people see you when you weren't planning on it. So it helped me to, if only the basics. And for me, people ask like, what are your go-tos? Lipstick, eyebrows, every single time. If my brows are good and I'm wearing lipstick, y'all, I am feeling it. If not, then I'm not feeling it. Not feeling it at all. And it's not a fun experience. In the sense of, I could be feeling good or I could feel great. And brows and lips make me feel great. So that's what I'm going to go for. So with all of that being said, if you are currently listening to this and having an epiphany that, oh, you could be doing a few things to make yourself feel more presentable for those unexpected moments where people are going to see you, then, do it. The other day, I was on the phone with my dad, and then he video called me, and I was like, bah! we hung up. He's like, hold on, I'll call you right back. And then he video called instead of just calling. And I was like, oh, he's my dad. I don't care how my dad sees me. But suddenly I was like, oh goodness, I'm not ready for a face-to-face. It just feels like let me get ready. So, just get back into I almost said the bare necessities, but you know the song? I can't sing it. Facebook will give me a copyright strike. But it's definitely stuck in my head now. Okay, let's do some lipstick. And then I'm going to let y'all go. And I'm going to go do some art with Jill Kane Designs. So if you don't already know, I'm feeling a real strong lip today. It's happening. It's been a while since I've done that. Because masks, y'all, like I cannot take. If I get lipstick on one more mask, I finally figured out a system. I forgot that I said I was going to share it with you. Maybe next week. But I am so tired of pulling off a mask and feeling like a swamp, like a tropical rainforest has happened in there with the sweat and the heat and then like the lip stuff just smearing everywhere. It's an intense experience and I don't like it. But I still put on my mask, so should you. And that's what I just keep coming back to. Like, we've looped all the way back around. People who are complaining about masks in terms of, like, refusing to wear them and getting in people's faces, like, what's wrong with you, first of all? Have anyone been paying attention to, like, we want to be far apart from each other and getting your spit in somebody else's face is literally the way we're going to die, so could we not? Come on, get with it, people. But, with that being said, what I don't understand is, or actually what I've come to understand, is the same people who complain about masks. I'm like, oh, wait, do you mean like, are you feeling like your liberties are being stripped from you? Like your freedom? No way. Oh, progressive? Oh, no way. And you feel the need to fight it? Oh, what do you say? Welcome to the party. That's what I say. Like, it should make sense now. You should have no way of misunderstanding or not, or like, oh, I just don't get how people can feel like their rights have been taken from them. And then they're like, oh. But why don't they just like find another way? Oh, yeah, why don't you find another way? And my parting words for today, because this is something that just, I'm starting to notice that people don't know this, so just want to point this out to you. The amount of times that people want to quote the Founding Fathers, first of all, do you know who the Founding Fathers are, and have you done any research on them? Because you might pick somebody else to quote if you knew some things. I'm just saying, you're choosing some people that those are not your role models. If they are, thanks for letting me know so I can distance myself far away. But I want you to let me know about which of the people who wrote the Constitution didn't own slaves. Tell me about those folks. And then, then we can talk. Yeah, the ones who wrote about, like, we the people, and the ones who wrote about, about, like, independence. Yeah, 4th of July is coming up. That feels, what's the word, loaded. In a way that it didn't before, but, like, you know, in this spirit of revolution, I'm like, Well, I teach this to 4th graders, and they understand that, like, the colonists who came from Britain, they're like, we're sick of your rule. We don't want you to tell us what to do anymore. We're going over here. Leave us alone. And Britain was like, but no, you're going to do what we say. We're going to tax you, and you can only buy our stuff, and we're in charge. We won't let you go. That's what was happening. And those colonists who were like, we want to be free, were also owning slaves and not allowing their enslaved people of color, black people, to fight in the Revolutionary War because we can't give them weapons. They may use them to harm us. They may go against us, or better yet, they may like run away, and then who will tend to our fields? And as 9 and 10-year-olds said to me, do your own work. So let's stop talking about the Founding Fathers and the Constitution and all these other documents that are historical as though they are beacons of freedom and independence for everyone, because it isn't for everyone. Consider the author. Mic drop. All right, I feel pretty, and I hope you're doing well, and I will see you all next week, and we'll talk about some more stuff. Bye, y'all. Stay fabulous, as always.